Okay, I am done with the setup. How is it going, everyone? I hope you're all doing well. I'm doing good. Good to see you here, Jack, Shovel, Coffee, and Ando. All good to see you here. Move over to this screen. It has been a minute. We almost did not have a painting stream today. If things worked out differently, it would have been like a Zomboid one, which I all know how you guys love Project Zomboid, but you will get spoon-fed the stuff you actually came here to see. What is new with everybody? I was gonna say I had a busy weekend. I actually had a 3-day weekend, which was really good. Special after Sunday, I needed a day to recover. I got some friends together and went to a Ren fair, not so far, but also far away from me, and had a blast. Finally got to get some friends out there that I thought would have enjoyed it for a bit, and they did. Obviously, like with every Ren fair, there's things that you think could be better and stuff like that. But what I will say, I fell into the, I think for most people that do cosplay or costumes in general, at least like when you get into it, this is something I've heard from like a couple channels when I was researching into it. You want to wear an outfit and you don't care if it's going to make you like have heat stroke or something like that. You're like, I want to wear this for the bit, or not for the bit, because the fit looks good. And I did that. I did that this past weekend. I decided to go as like my night outfit in the beginning. So I wore like my padded armor shirt, and then I threw on my metal helmet as well. Those were both my like biggest mistakes. I should have not done that in the beginning. I was a cooking tin can in there. But I wore that for a little bit, and I saw someone else who was also going around as a knight, and I saw them like, oh, they look really cool. And then they came up to me and they're like, dude, I got to give you a fist bump like for the outfit and everything. Like, oh, that's sorry. It made my weekend having someone come up and like do that. And I asked him like, how are you dealing with the heat? And he said, I'm not. And I'm like, yeah, same. But his outfit was way better than mine. It was not as much stuff, but he had a lot more metal on. And he actually did my state's flag as his, tunic is, I don't know if that's the right word or not. It's the piece of cloth that goes over your armor to show like your colors. Oop. No, I'm not reading chat and you guys are saying stuff. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Coffee. I hope you feel better soon. Ah, good for you, Ando, to volunteer and all that. Volunteering, as much as it might not be fun, it does help. And people do appreciate it. Coffee said, I have a tactical squad, Docker rig, and Tau combat patrol coming. Oh, nice. Hey, good for you. Aw. Well, sounds like you got quite a few projects to do there, Coffee. Let's see if I can actually get this to be better. This is not... I know I'm doing this like the third time I'm changing up the colors on the back of this. I'll probably do it again. But I want to get a bit closer to that actual coral orange color. That was, this is what I gotta do. I will say I am actually going to do something that will change most of this, I think. I'll do that in a moment. I mean, we'll probably do some freehand here at some point there, France. I am just... decided I'm going to change the orange color again for, like, the third time. Thank you. I want to keep doing the pink a little bit more, and at some point I do got to freehand that. But we'll see. I wanted... It was too orange. I sent the images to the friend that recommended colors. It's been so long that he didn't remember the colors that he sent. He's like, I don't remember saying orange, and I was like, you said these three colors. And the other, then someone responded, well, he's got the receipts. And I'm like, yep, because it's been in my head. I've been remembering all this stuff. So I figured I'd try to get close to the coral orange. It's way more of a pink color. At least from what I've seen. I'm not going to do it to like everything that's orange. I'm just doing it to the main part. Holy boy, from a distance is that like a bright orange. I'm thinking I want to do, like, some pink up here as well. Almost like how I did on the smaller knight. Ooh, nice. I haven't looked at their color scheme before. I mean, I know what the salamanders look like right now as a color scheme, but has it changed much from the Badab War? Actually, maybe I won't sponge on another brighter color. Kind of like the a little bit of orange you can see peering underneath in some parts. Oh geez, that is very, very pink. Practice, 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 and practice. That is going to be my answer to anything to get better at. I know that's the cop-out answer, but it is the truth. I have to get better at edge highlighting as well. I don't do it as much as I could. Some of the things that popped in my head is making sure your brush tip is an actual point. The better that I can say a point, like that's where the paint and everything will be. Thinning the paint helps as well with controlling how much you put down. And no, you don't use the tip of the brush, I believe, when it comes to highlighting. You're more or less, this is not a good brush for an example, but you're not using the tip to highlight. You're using the edge of the brush because you're taking the paint off the side, and that is edge on edge. As if you did the tip, you might push, might hit a few other parts. As if you do it on the side of it, it should just stay all along there. It should. Does not mean that's going to be the case. Oh, they were a lot more of a lighter green, almost raptor colors, kind of. Interesting. Very interesting. Huh. Okay, moving over to pauldrons. Wondering if... Could I do the stripes? I kind of want to do the squares like I did on another one. The squares might be too big on something like this. I kind of just want to put on paint and see what kind of speaks to me shape-wise. Well, we got a friend for Ando. There's a bug. Oh, and there it goes. Ooh, Hive Guard or Tyrant Guard? What's the difference? Hey, Swiggity! Ooh, I'm more of a fan of melee in general. But also kind of like, what do you want out of your army is what I'm going to say too. What are you trying to say, France? I'm a little bit scared to like look up what you just said, France, but I'm sure it's not bad. But yes, I am like feeling out what I think's gonna look good on this model, and I think I kind of have an idea. Ah! Okay. So it was what I initially thought it was. It sounds like people are saying do the shooty one over the melee one. But I will say depends on what you want to do for your army. Like what is let's see, you said earlier you're trying to do big bulky shooty front line. So yeah, then go with the range option. Rory, what? It's okay. It's okay, buddy. Thank you for being here. No, I'm not doing that. And let's see if I can try and get what I'm trying to do. I think he was whining because he wanted to go out. Or maybe he wanted attention. Either one. I gave him a couple pets, and now he's off. Oh yeah, this paintbrush has been splitting for a while. It is... I have another, like, big basing one, but it needs to be cleaned really badly, so I'm making do with what I got. Wetting down this one as much as I can, as often, to fix the tip, so I at least have a decent tip for a little bit, and then going back and painting in some more. I can raise that up a little bit. I probably could also switch to a smaller brush and try to do what I'm doing. They are depressed blood angels, to, I think, like, easily summarize it. No, wait a minute. They're not depressed. I mean, yes, they're sad, but they're also extremely unlucky. They had a lot of unfortunate events happen to them. See how well I can get the general idea for what I want. And okay. See how well I can do this. Not that well. This poor brush. It's going to be turning into a dry brush very soon. I can feel it. No, I'm not. What I wanted to try and do... I'm not going to copy it well, but I almost wanted to do... If you can see it. That little, like, pointed arrow bit. I was trying to copy that. Actually, this is what I want to show. That piece that's purple, at least that long... That's the idea I have, is I want to do like an arrow. I'm just trying to put some other colors down besides all that I have. Yes. Yes, it is that French word I'm trying to put down. It is the Sisters of Battle icon, yeah. Which, I mean, I do use Sisters of Battle in this list, so... So it doesn't hurt to throw it on there, I feel. Night House Mortimer? Never heard of them. I'm going to look them up real quick. Oh. It's okay to be nervous about that stuff, Jacob. It's a gene sitter called Night House? Oh no. That's not what I'm trying to make. Oh my lord, it is. Okay. How's it going, Smite Force? I guess there is one. Well, that was not the initial plan for this Night House. They might have to do some explaining. Well, I say Night House. There's only one particular one. I mean, it had to be a thing out there somewhere. Gene stealers are everywhere in the world. You thought I was painting a swordfish? Oh yeah, I want to go back up to what Jacob was saying earlier. Like, we all have a model that we put in our heads as this really high level thing. And for me, it's the lion. I don't know if I'll ever get around to painting him. Could I do it now? Yes. But he was like one of the first models I bought when I started. And it was such a daunting idea that I had a huge goal for it. So it's okay to be nervous about it. It's okay just to paint it. It's just a model. Once it's painted, you can always strip it and repaint it. To answer your question, Smite, I am painting a Imperial Knight. In particular, I am doing a Knight Crusader. Had to think of it. I am painting it up in 3 colors that a friend suggested me to paint it as. Those colors being Royal Purple, Coral Orange, and Bubblegum Pink. So I'm doing it the best I can. I also asked him, like, hey, what do you want for a house color? Or not house color, house sigil. And they're like, oh, do a unicorn. And I just sighed a little bit. I'm like, sure, I'll do that. Yes, it is a vehicle. Imperial Knights is a whole army. So, like, it's giant robots. Let's see if I can... I won't put them all together, but I'll grab a example of an Imperial Knight. Actually, I can do a finished Imperial Knight. That's better. Oh, you just fell. That's fine. So, this is just the legs. I didn't paint this model. This one I bought, painted. And this is the top section of a Imperial Knight. Yes, the Imperium do have their own mechs. They're not as good as Tau mechs for shooting and all that, because Tau are like the more scientifically advanced. But think of this as a medieval house, but a giant robot. Well, yes, mecha, not robot, but yeah. So, and they're piloted by, like, a person that's hooked up to a chair. That's definitely better than a knight, because a knight is a 5-up. It's a 5-up invuln save at range. You get him in the melee, it goes down. Having a 5-up invuln save? I mean, there's sometimes where I wish it was better. But that's just their invuln. Their regular save is a 3-up. No. Their regular ballistic skill is a 3-up on most weapons. With the new rule of towering, if I'm within 12, it brings it to hitting on 2s. But then because everything has cover when they're in terrain, brings it back to being a 3. But that's only if I have towering. That's a whole rule that I'm learning now here. Mike, welcome to the stream. It is very overwhelming when you first get into 40k. Take it one step at a time. I also heard this from Eons of Battle, that 40k isn't always the best for people to start with. Like, Sigmar Spearheads is what they said would be the most fun when you begin, but 40k can be fun. Well, I'm sure in some places they were, but yeah, they were terraforming tools. That's why they have giant swords and stuff to cut down the trees or cut materials. And the guns were also there to protect people. This is during the dark age of during the dark age of technology. For your own army, best of luck with that. I mean, you'll be able to do it, I think, after a while. But that's a lot of information. It's going to be... I'm trying to think. There's so many rules and stuff that kind of change certain information, but best of luck with you on that. That will... Almost got the line finished. Mike, that is a really good goal. If you buy a model kit, build it, paint it, and finish it before you buy a new one. Because you will very quickly... have a large pile of not finished models sitting in front of you. and a large pile of boxes that you need to build at some point as well. I am trying to stop myself from doing that. Let's see, France says, before the dark age of technology, it was the golden age of man. Before the fall, the colonists of the Great Crusade sought to reunite. Ooh. It's going well, Paint. It's going very well. Had a good, busy weekend. I know you talked about it. I don't know if you've shared images. I can't remember. But no, I had a good weekend. I went to a Ren Fair Sunday with some friends. Got overheated, which is a huge plus in my book because I can check that off the list. Not that I should have had that on the list, but I wanted to look good for a little bit and wear a really cool outfit, in my opinion. From the little bit I've learned, I'm going to go with World Eaters. Ooh, nice. I love playing against World Eaters. They focus way more on melee than they do shooting. I hope you enjoy them and have fun with them. Oh, yeah. No, I'm good. I wore it for like a little bit, and I switched into a different outfit later. I will admit, I didn't start in that outfit. I, like, switched when I was going to meet up with my friends. I was like, I want to wear this and, like, show off a little bit. And then after a while, I'm like, I need to go switch my clothes. Another friend showed up and he needed to borrow some stuff, so it worked out perfectly. So I switched to something different and enjoyed the rest of the fair. We stayed there until it closed. Before it closed, I did a 1v1 fight with a friend. We paid for 3 rounds. We both got ourselves to 2-2. So we're... Yes! It was knight armor. I can send an image on what I was going to do, and then, like, I removed one piece because one piece I need help putting on. So I didn't do that piece. Trying to think on the rest of my story. I said this before. The coolest thing at the entire Ren Fair for me, besides the fight, which my friend won, he hit my shield arm, and it was so light, I'm like, I don't know if it hit me or not. I'm going to count it that he did. If I didn't count it, I could have won, but I'm glad he won. He then fought the master. Because if you, like, fight, like, their masters and stuff, you can get the badge. Like, if you win, you can get their badge and all stuff. He did good. He was tired by the end of it. Even, like, the guy who was fighting against combat, I'm like, dude, you did really well. So, makes me want to get into LARP and all that stuff, like, a little bit more. I really love Ren Fairs. I love fantasy stuff. I want to get more into it. And I can feel myself switching from, like, one fixation to the other right now. Like, Warhammer's been my biggest one for, like, so long. And now I'm, like, slowly switching to the other one. And I'm like, no. We gotta stay here a little bit. Or we gotta do both. I'm trying to do both. And it's hard sometimes to, like, keep going on what I have going on. Okay. So, I need to go up and answer some questions or read some stuff. My least favorite army to fight. I don't know if I really have one outright. No. It's either Eldar or Tau. Eldar or Tau are the two that I'm not the biggest fans into fighting. And it's because really one player that I play against two Eldar players, but it's been the same time, it's been the same effect. But that was early on when I'm bad at Warhammer. And the Tau just can shoot you off the board before you really have a chance to like do anything. So that kind of annoys me a little bit. Every other army, it feels like a fair fight. It's felt very fair. I know you guys are probably messaging, and I should read. That is really nice. That's also a very like dangerous thing, Mike, because you're like really close to the store. You can just go down the street, buy models, but then you're like, oh, all my money's gone. I think like we all go through different phases. Like I've gone through many different phases of like my interests and stuff like that. I'm still gonna play Warhammer. It's still like my main thing. But I can't fixate on one hobby all the time. I should have multiple hobbies. I'm talking with my hands here and you guys can't see anything. Octopus, how's it going? I hope you're still here. Okay. How's it going, Failure? I knew saying that was going to be laugh. How's it going, Failure to report? Yes, we are doing nights. Having a little bit of a talk at the moment. At least I was just talking and not painting. Yes, I know you said you did post that earlier, Paint. I will get to it at some point. An Alpha Legion Night Warden. Ooh, interesting. I'm going to read Octopus's thing out loud, and you might have said this before. I've been painting Emperor's Children, and I'm really happy with them up close, but at a distance, they don't look as nice as I'd like. Have you ever had that problem? Yes. I have had that problem. And it's more the fact of, like, I don't know what your scheme's like for your Emperor's Children. If you're painting actual Emperor's Children colors, I know that they can be hard to do because it's very pink. Talking about that, I gotta get back to painting some pink. I might actually mix some colors together. I think what I gotta keep in mind is just if you're happy with your color scheme where it is, then don't change a thing. If you want to try and make it look good and okay, if you want to make it look good from up close and from a distance, then tweak it. But I'd say keep in mind, oh God, what's the word? The 3-foot rule. You're going to see everything from 3 feet away. I mean, obviously, if you're playing like a larger model, it's not going to be as like important, but yeah. I apologize if I sound like I'm rambling and all that. I don't know if I got my point across or if I answered your question at all, Octopus. Yeah. Good night, Coffee. Yeah, I do apologize if I'm not saying it correctly. Ooh, interesting. Actually, the pink I'm using is Spellbound Fuchsia. I feel like this and purple feel very Emperor's Children to me. What else did I miss? For 25 years playing Magic the Gathering. That's a long time to be in a hobby. I will get a Chaos Knight at some point. I'm actually going to split one with a friend. That will be... At some point, that will happen. Ooh. And... Damn, paint. That is a good haul. I look at the models too. Ooh. Oh, wait a minute. Those look really good. I'm looking at the Emperor's Children currently. Ooh. I like that combo. I don't think they look bad from a distance at all. I think you did really well with those. Sorry for like... Hugging a Snail. God, I gotta watch Spieling stuff again. I haven't seen their content in a bit. I wonder how the New Zealander's doing. I'm getting... Okay, I play Magic because my friends are really into Magic. They actually opened up a gaming store because they got into Magic. I know, that sounds like... sounds like a weird thing to say, but my friends got into Magic, and then one of them was like, I'm going to open up a Magic the Gathering store. And he did, and he's doing really well at it. I don't fully see the appeal of Magic. Like, I think the art's cool. Everything that... Like, some of the art is cool, some of the cards are cool. Not... I don't know. I just can't really get behind it. Like, card games haven't really been my thing in such a long time. It's not going to turn out like I hoped. I need to mix way more pink into that. See if this will work. Why does it turn purple all of a sudden? Wait. Oh no, did it get mixed in with some purple paint? No. I gotta wash up the brush and start this whole thing. How's it going, Darn? I know you guys are messaging me and I am not responding to it. Let's see if I can actually fix that at all. There you go. Oh my lord. Mm-hmm. Yes, I did see that, sweetie. It looks good. Sorry, I'm like trying to put my thoughts together for my response with the whole magic and stuff. Like, I play to hang out with my friends, and that's it. I don't go to stores to really play with people. Like, I've met some weird people playing at Magic Gathering stores. Like, even my, like, buddy store, he tries to keep it at, like, a certain level, but I've just met some, like, weird people that I'm like, I will be pleasant and happy in person, but I think you're a little bit of a odd case. And I feel bad for some of the people that like go to these stores. Like, it's the only interaction they get with other people. I do want to state, everyone I've met at the store or places in general have been really nice. I've been very fortunate. I've not had a bad interaction with anyone yet. Knock on wood, it's going to happen at some point. I'm going to have a bad interaction with someone during Warhammer or anything like that. Yeah, that's the main thing, like, with a lot of stores is they really don't care about their hygiene, and I dislike that. If I go to a store and it isn't kept clean or decent, ugh, it instantly throws me off. Yes, I am aware of Space King. All hail mighty Space King. Hatemonger and Chestnut are my favorite characters from Space King. I think Magic needs to take a rule that Yu-Gi-Oh put into place, is that you need to be actually like cleanly hygienic if you're gonna play. And I know Yu-Gi-Oh made that rule because of a card where it's like you and your opponent need to do a handshake, and people would get really disgusting. That is very funny, Octopus. The Nurgle players are the most hygienic. I love that. Ugh. They were doing cleanse. That's like just something Death Guard should not be doing. I do want to say for a fact, like I don't have any hard feelings against Magic the Gathering. It is a card game, all that stuff. It's always people. There are bad people in every hobby, and there's good people in every hobby. It's the same thing with like Warhammer. People are like, oh, Warhammer's such like a bad like community. It's like we've had bad people in the past. We've been fortunate that like most that's gone away, because I think if that was a thing, I would not be here as a person painting. What the hell am I doing with my knight? I don't even know what I'm doing at this point. I'm just putting color down, and it's not working. I need to stop. Take the brush out of my hand. Physically, someone pull it out of my hand. What am I doing? I gotta turn on the lights. Give it a love heart, it might help. Maybe. I'm actually going to take some water and try and see if I can blend. That's not working like I thought. I wanted to answer on like why Magic, or I guess nerdy stuff in general, became so popular. I do want to apologize. I'm sorry for people that I'm missing your messages about. I'm trying to keep up the best I can with it. Okay. I appreciate that. I do know as this community goes, it will get harder and harder. A lot of you guys have been here for a while, and all the new people, I want you all to feel welcomed. Paying to answer your question on what I'm like trying to do, I wanted to like, one, add in a brightness, but I also want to try doing this point. I'm trying to copy another arrow shape on top. I'm just trying to fade in some brighter colors. It's coming in too bright too fast, and I wish I had a more subtle color, but I don't. Anyway, back to my initial thought process. I think it was a lot of different things that made nerd hobby stuff popular. When we were kids, we're like, oh, I'm really into like this, and this. And then we got to high school, we all kind of like died down on it. Like, I know I wasn't as big into some nerdy stuff as I was as a kid, but I still had it. I just didn't show it or express as much. And then we became adults. At least for context, I'm 28, so I'm thinking like within a 10-year time span here. So there was like probably a small resurgence as we got older. We're like, we are now adults. We want to spend our money on what we do. But then also like COVID happened. At least here in the US, like what I'm thinking about is like COVID made a lot of people be like, I need a hobby. So they started looking at things because they're all cooped up inside. So all of us that were nerds were like, hey, I'll pull out my Magic cards. I'll pull out my Pokemon cards. I'll pull out my Warhammer models I haven't touched in a while. And, like, get back into this. As for me, like, my reason on why I got into it and why I only got into Warhammer, like, 2 years ago. And I got into it to, like, find people and hang out with people and get out of the house. And it's worked. Now, it has not helped my wallet and anything, all that stuff, but that is like the main reason why I got into it. It's just I don't want to be cooped up at home. I don't want to be sit inside my room and rot my entire life, if that makes sense. So, I try to find something to get me out of the house and do other things. Oh, I felt that in high school, Octopus. I got to fully read your comment in a moment, but the beginning part. It's funny because some people are ashamed of their nerdy hobbies and sharing it with girls, but I have found girls I talk with find them really cool. Reference, I'm just out of high school, and Warhammer is just cool. I know in high school and like out of it, I was scared to share my nerdy stuff, and now I'm like, try not to swear. I'm gonna swear here for a moment. Now I'm like, fuck it. It doesn't matter. This is who I am. I need to do what makes me happy. I agree with that, Octopus. Also, Smite, that's a really good feeling to have. That's a amazing feeling. Knowing that you can have the fun and all that stuff. Ando, you're good, bud. I just had to get rid of that message because of my rule. I will break my rule, but I will also punish myself for it. I agree with that, Andy. I agree. We need to have places like... I mean, for everyone, it needs to be, like, welcoming and all that. I understand, like... I can understand where some people come from and how they feel. Doesn't mean I have to agree with it. But the idea of, like... I like to meet new... Well... I'm not very outgoing, not very talkative, but when I do talk with someone, I like to get to know them. I like to chat with them. I like to, I don't know, see what makes some people tick. That sounds like a I kind of wish there were, like, clubs or stuff like that, like after school for younger people around here. At least where I am, at least where I'm from, there's not a lot for people to do outside of work besides watch TV and drink. I think some people do have that hobby. But like, I know in high school, there was really no good fun places to hang out and all that. And I hear like when my parents were like high schools and they had all these places, like, where are these for us? These don't exist anymore. And of course now I'm older, like some stuff kind of exists, but not really for the younger crowd. But, I don't know. Maybe I'm just going on a weird little might be I don't think we ever had a tabletop club in high school. Would be good. Would have been good if there was one. I agree with that, Andy. I think we need places like that. Sweetie, I understand you were saying there is one for you. I was saying for me, it would have been nice if there was one. I'm really glad that you have one at your school. Like, that's a really cool thing. Nah, you're fully good, Swiggity. Going to what Paint said for a moment. Where did I find out about Warhammer? I think I knew about Warhammer for like a while, but I didn't really get I remember like learning about some weird things about Warhammer at some different points in my life, but I didn't really get into Warhammer until I started watching a channel called Isander and Coda. I really started to learn more about Warhammer from them. And then the more that I learned, I knew like if I got into the model side, it was downhill from there for me. So I took myself to a Warhammer store, like eventually I did, and bought my first set of minis. And planned on painting and building and painting all those models before I bought anything new. That did not last. But as for particular anyone introducing me, that's the channel that I remember the most, like, learning about Warhammer the most from. But there was no, like, one person that introduced me. Let's see if I can touch up and fix up a few things. I need a different brush than this. This is too big for what I'm trying to do. Paint. I got into Warhammer because a Q&A from a stop motion YouTuber who talked about the backlash he got from his Warhammer video. Was curious, watched it, fell in love. It's only been downhill. Honestly, it is like one of those things where, like, once you dip your toe in, you really do kind of fall down this rabbit hole fast. Like, you need someone to, like, hold your hand and guide you in slowly. Because if not, you do just drop down this hole. And I think there's videos out there, like, warning people, like, you get into it and it's going to be like this. And it doesn't matter. You're always going to fall into this little vortex. I wish it wasn't so expensive. I get it, they're a business, but why? Why are we so expensive? What's up, Hunter? Welcome to stream. Whoa. That's not good, Swiggity. That's not good one bit. That is... I don't know if I'm not going to come up with an answer, but I do agree with your reasoning. Octopus says... Oh, what am I touching? I see. See, Octopus says, I remember when I started playing, where it was like 3 Marines versus 6 Necron Warriors, and every model was treated like a unit. Wow, that... No, fair enough, Paint. That is a very large, like, politic thing, and I don't like to talk about politics on the channel, so I appreciate that. No. Is that true, Ando? Also, Hunter, nice. Always love a good Plague Marine. Andy, I was actively trying to avoid Warhammer because I knew it was a bit of a money sink. Figured Kill Team would be less expensive. Enjoyed it, but made me realize Warhammer was what I wanted. Ooh. Ain't no way. No way they dropped him in money-wise. Good night, Swiggity. I get that to look okay. I am painting the top part of an Imperial Knight. This is a Imperial Knight Crusader that I am working on. The obnoxious color scheme excuse me. The color scheme. Okay. I called an accident. I accidentally got myself into building an Imperial Knight army list. It started with one model and kind of just went from there. So I had like these knights that were completely prime silver and a couple of colors, and I'm like, I want to do like different schemes for them, and I also want to like challenge myself in painting with limited colors. So I reached out to 3 friends to be like, hey, I got 3 models that I want to paint. Give me 3 colors each of you. The first one I painted was a Earth themed one, which was light blue, green, and brown. I'm now going to work on that one a little bit more and do some like detailed stuff, but that one's done and has been my favorite model to date to play and use. This one is... I'm not sure what color theme to call it. I guess I could call it the Nerf football, because that's what I called it for a little bit, but it's bubblegum pink, royal purple, and coral orange? And I got one more of the color schemes to do, and then I got one more night that I might do my own color scheme for, or I might reach out to another friend and do. Good night, paint. Enjoy the rest of your evening. It was good to have you here for a little bit. That sounds so funny. Girly pop death guard. I love that. Certainly. If you're in the Discord, go down. Okay, first off, for people that are new here and all that stuff, I have a Discord, completely free to join. It's mostly a Warhammer one, but if there's other hobbies and stuff you're into, like, go ahead and share them. There's other hobbies I want to get into at some point as well. But if you're in the Discord and you want to show off your stuff, I have a channel for it. I think it's like Warhammer and other models. I know no one asked, but for those curious about what other hobbies I'm into, I am slowly trying to get into cosplay or outfit building and all that stuff. One of my last projects I did with that, I was working on an Inquisitor cosplay. I got to work on that again. But I made myself my own little bolter out of a Nerf gun, or at least like a dirty sci-fi looking gun. That was a fun project to do. Octopus. I remember hearing somewhere that women who get into hobbies often find Necrons and Nids easy to paint since many makeup techniques work for them well. Ooh, I didn't know that was the case. And then Andy says, when I was working a Ripper Swarm on a leash, my lady friend plays both Necrons and Nids, so that tracks. Nice, nice. At some point, I gotta do my Tyranids. I gotta build and paint them. I think I'm gonna like strip the models I have painted for my Tyranids and go with High Fleet Typhon, I believe it's called. It was on the Reavers Kill Team box. I just love that scheme so much. But it's a hard scheme to paint too. But they're also like one of the few Tyranid High Fleets that actually attack other Tyranids. Which, I kind of like a Tyranid that just is going to attack anything and everything. The channel that you can post it into is Warhammer and other models. It's in the workshop category. There we go. Let's take a look at it. Oh my god! I love it! Oh my god! Oh, I gave myself a headache. Oh no. Actually, not a headache. I went lightheaded there for a second. I needed to drink some water. Woo! That's such a good looking model! Oh my lord. I do want to state that I'm laughing as a good thing. It's not a bad thing. I think that is an awesome model, and I love the way it looks. And I'm picturing it being put on the table, and I can just see someone's face to be like, what am I about to fight here? And it just makes me chuckle so much. That is a Titan. Good sir, why is there a Titan on your desk? Also, is that an Inquisitor at its feet? Those pitbulls ain't princess. That's so true. It's like, don't worry, my dog doesn't bite. Its name's Princess. The dog that doesn't bite. Oh, the Creed Commissar? Oh. Okay, hold on. Real quick. Because I do realize that, like, on stream, or, like, on the VOD, if people rewatch this, they don't really see a lot of the images that I am talking about. I call that... that. So, let me find... I'm gonna show this off real quick. Bam. This is what I'm chuckling at. For those that are watching the VOD and want to see at this point, this is amazing, and I love this. All the little bead work you did on there, all the bejeweling, very good, very nice. Gold star for you. Go check on the ones that you're curing. Like, you put resin on them? Interesting. Okay. That's the kind of stuff I love about this, like, hobby. Is that someone is always going to come up with something that's really funny or really, like... I'll see some really, really amazing paint schemes. And they're, like, really talented people that do it. And then I see people that do, like, really funny schemes or really funny models. And it just makes me chuckle. And I'm like, these are the two ends of Warhammer. And I love it so much. The funny and silly stuff are always, I think, more my favorite. But I always enjoy a good model. If you can do funny and a good model, oof. Good to hear, good to hear. Always welcome to have people paint along with me, or just chill and chat, or whatever. I'd like to be finished with this night at one point, but I don't know if I'll let myself ever be finished with it. I do want to state that Imperial Knights are not my main army. I am a Space Marine player at heart. I just had to switch things up for a little bit and do something a little bit different. Actually, to be fully honest, I only went back to my Imperial Knights because I had a dream about them. And I'm glad I did when and started painting up these guys again. It is 100% worth painting up these beautiful things. Almost forgot the prime. Oh yeah, that's a very important part for a lot of models. I gotta prime them. Set those to the side. What is that? Well, I need those two as well. I think I am going to cheat and do a fourth color on this as well. Because none of these other two colors I think will work well as a good trim for the purple. I'm probably going to do a gold for the leg trim and everything like that. I need my sponge. And I gotta get this. I get this painted up. I've been procrastinating on this little top piece for a while. Ooh, this would be an interesting scheme. Prime a whole Knight model white, and the only color used is pink, and you just sponge it on, and you don't care about covering everything in pink, so like wherever the white shows underneath, that is just a part of it. I kind of like that idea. And a little bit of a dab, dab, dab. One problem with the sponge is that you can't get every little nook and cranny with it. That is definitely a negative on the sponge. Ow, grab the brush. Oh, that's good to hear, Darren. Honestly, I understand why some people like fear an airbrush and all that stuff, but it's not that like bad of a tool. I mean, I'll admit I used a cheap $20 airbrush as my first one, and I did break it. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm just out 20 bucks, and I did buy a new one, and I haven't used one since. I should again at some point, but for big stuff like that, I see it as like a necessary tool. But you can get away with not needing it as well. Actually, I think before I use the gold, I should ask for permission, like, hey, can I use gold next to the purple? I should ask him. If he tells me no, I might go with pink as the trim color for the legs. That feels like it's going to be such a big pull away from the color scheme. I mean, no, it's within the scheme. It's just gonna, I think, look off. That's the word I'm looking for. over to... There we go. And... Yeah, so it's good to go. There. Welcome back, Hunter. I'll probably be on for like another half hour or so-ish. Should have started this directly at 7, but I got a little sleepy after dinner, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to get up. I want to lay down and feel... Yeah, I'm just going to end that there. Tomorrow is game day for Warhammer. I'm going to bring these guys to the game store. Probably get my butt kicked again, but I'm going to try my best and have a good time all the way around. The last game I played was against Imperial Knights, and it was close for a bit, and then like turn 4? Yeah, turn 4. He just jumped high up in points. We both did Purge the Foe. And he had a Castellan. And that's a knight I don't have on my list. Honestly, it was bad dice rolls and good models. His dice rolls were good all the way around. Mine were complete DS through most of it. It was really funny to see. I did have some good rolls, but ugh. I think back on it and I'm like, if one of my plans went through, I would have been fine. You guys ever had a game where if it was just like one turn went a little bit better for you, the whole game would have been different? I do fear I sound like a whiny, like a sore loser when I say this stuff. And I do want to reiterate, like, I have fun in my games. I enjoy all the games I'm at. You just sit down and, like, you reflect on stuff, and you're like, you know, this could have been, like, things could happen like this way. If, like, one little thing changed. No, Ando? No? You've never had that feeling? Or that thought? Leave that there. I guess it's just me. Maybe I am the problem. Maybe it's me. Maybe I am the problem. Oh. You need to stop dropping dice and start actually rolling them. I try to roll them if I can. Is it easier to paint individual pieces then glue them together, or the reverse? Yeah, depending on the model, sub-assembly is, like, the way to go. So, I find with, like, my big models like Knights, sub-assembly is 100% the thing to do. And some models, you can't do that. Like, small infantry stuff, not really the easiest way to do, although I've had some models where it's like, oh, this is a really hard spot to get into. And if it was just a little bit, like, if it was separate. But yeah, like, roughly the larger your model is, sub-assembly is the better way of doing it. Okay, I think we're gonna let that dry. And then I'm gonna move. I have been kind of not looking forward to this bottom part here. What do you have as an idea for your models there, Mike? Like, what sort of little additions do you want to throw on your models? Andy says, I enjoy building the models first, unless I know specifically one has really hard to reach areas if you don't paint in sub-assembly first. And then I know France You said your excuse me, your opinion sub-assembly all the way through, unless the exception with conversions and models using green stuff. I think sub-assembly is really more important if you're doing, one, a large model, but also if you're doing a competition piece. That's what I'm like thinking about. If you're doing a competition piece, then sub-assembly is definitely more the way to go. But again, all this stuff is in my opinion, just like anything people say here. Mike says, for example, I want to have a Marine ripping apart an alien, that type of look. Okay. So you want like really cool dioramic looking bases. Ooh, you should be looking at 3D printable bits if that's the case. I will say not every... Because you're getting into it, don't get caught up with the idea of perfection, okay? Don't let that become your whole like mindset and goal of like, I want this to be perfect all the way through. It's okay if a model doesn't look perfect. It's okay if it doesn't turn out the way you hope in the beginning. That's a lesson I had to learn myself the hard way, because I was getting nothing done if I wanted models. There's a certain like way, and even now I still want models to look, but my time is precious and I cannot sit down and do every model like that. Ooh, yeah. Darren's got a good one as well. Having like models that you're willing to use, models that you're willing to paint your scheme on first, strip, and then kind of keep tweaking. That kind of should be your okay, like your starting point. And France says that's a conversion and should be assembled first. That's the best way to approach a mini diorama. Hunter, I think, has the best opinion so far. He says, I recommend just paint what looks cool. You don't need to be forced to follow the box art. Those are professional painters that use so many goddamn paints to make them look the way they do. And then you got me here with a sponge trying to make this work and be covered in all that stuff. Like, don't follow the box art. You're not going to enjoy that process. Unless you actually do enjoy doing it that way, but... I'm kind of sitting here thinking on it. I think I'm going to call it here for the night. I appreciate y'all being here, and... Well, no, I won't, because now we got someone new. How's it going, not the courier? Or courier? I always feel bad every time I like decide, like, oh, I'm going to end something, then we get someone new pop in. I'm like, well, I'll be here for another, like, 20 minutes. Nah, it's all good. I don't mind. Nice. We like a good Terminator. What's the scheme you're doing for your Terminators? I'm 28 and I feel late, so do not feel that you are late. It is okay to start wherever in your Warhammer journey. Oh, that's awesome, Courier. We love some good Ultramarines. And how was painting Gilman? Was it good? Yeah, that's very true, France. That is, and getting it done in 10 instead of 40. I don't know if I really want to spend 10 hours on one model, though. I say that, and I don't know how many hours I've spent doing this guy so far. It was horrible, but I liked it. Well, here's the fun part. Give yourself time, and then look at your Gilliman, and you're like, I can do you better. Then you can strip him later when you have more skill underneath your belt, and paint him up even better. Or you can buy yourself a brand new one and paint it up, but that is all up to you. Average 20 for a basic infantry, like 3 to 4 to battle ready, another 15 to be finished. Oof. No, fair enough, Courier. I was more thinking like down the road when you had a bit more skill, time, and money underneath your belt, but you do not need to buy a new Gilliman just to repaint him. Warhammer is expensive. I know that's shocking news to everyone, but it is a very expensive hobby. How's it going, Ollie? Or, wait a minute, no, how do I pronounce it? Wait, is it Alejandro? Is that how you say Alejandro, or is that how you spell Alejandro? I've never seen the name Ooh. I almost wouldn't recommend isopropyl alcohol because it can melt and destroy your model. There is a product that I use that works well on getting rid of paint. It's called Simple Green. It's a cleaning product. I'm not sure where you can buy it. Usually I can go to Walmart and get it, but sometimes it's hard to find because it's a really good cleaning product. I think the paints are relatively the same. I mean, yeah, a lot of model paint companies are like, so I know the main one people use is Citadel / like Warhammer is the main one. Like, this is what they look like, but personally, for the paints I use, I really like using Army Painter as a brand. This does say War Paint Fanatic, but the brand that makes this is called Army Painter. Their paints are a little bit thinner than Warhammer Citadel paints. But you can almost use, well, you can use any brand of paint out there to do your models. Like I've seen people, or I think people have done a video on painting Warhammer in craft paints, and I started with craft paints. I think you can do it. You just gotta like thin down your paints relatively well enough. Make sure your coats aren't too thick or heavy. Vallejo is another good one I've heard. I've not used Vallejo before. Okay. I will say, Hunter, you are not the first person under the age of 20 I've had in here. I try to keep my streams mentally, and I always try to say this, I treat every time I stream that there is a 5-year-old in the room next to me listening and watching me paint. How I act and how I need to portray myself is how I would in front of a 5-year-old person. It's not 100% how it goes down to all that stuff, but that's just like an example of what I expect my community here to be like and how I do it. So, yeah. All that stuff, do not tell us your age. We don't need to know your age. Okay, there we go. So, on top of that, I'm going to read some other stuff. I did not know that they were not acrylic. I know what craft paint you're talking about, Courier. I've used that brand before when I first got into this stuff. Hey, Grim, how's it going? An airbrush is cool, but you don't need it when you start painting. Like, if you want to use an airbrush, go for it. Do the research. I wouldn't recommend it as a beginner thing. I will show the difference, at least for me. Like, I'll show you my one and, well, not my one and only, but I will show you my airbrush model real quick. So, airbrushes are, I think, nice for if you, at least like for this project that I was doing. They're really good for, like blending. So, these are the legs of one of the knights I've done. I airbrushed the brown on there, and then I hand brushed on that other bronzy brownish color. That's a mix between like a silver paint and brown. I do not know if I can get that again. To show off the body, this is what I mean where like mixing the colors work really well. Oh, and there it goes. That's off. That's going to happen. So, to kind of show, I started from that brown color, working up with the green. And keep in mind, I did not clean out my airbrush when I did all this. I kept mixing the colors together more and more. And then finally, like, stop from there. I think that's perfect to have someone to teach you. That's 100% like a bona fide good thing. But I think I'm starting to lose brain function. I still love this knight. This is still my like favorite model I've painted so far. His scheme just looks so nice. I love him. So the days that I stream, I try to do 3 days a week, starting from 7 p.m. EST to about 10 o'clock p.m. EST. I don't have a set schedule. I've been trying to shoot for Tuesdays and at least a Thursday or Friday. I have been kind of slacking and not doing a full 3 days a week. So I do apologize for that for people, but life does get in the way. I am still a human. But yeah. Oh no! I hope you found everything and it goes together okay. I hate to do this, but I really should call it here for the night. I hate doing it because you're all giving each other advice and you're chatting to each other and to me, and I appreciate that, but I am tired and I should go to bed. Okay. So, with that all being said, I'm gonna do my little spiel. So, on that subject, because Andy brought it up, if you want to be part of the community and get to chat with me, other members here, get tips on, like, painting, all that stuff, or share your other hobbies, because it's not just Warhammer I'm into, but I'm also into cosplay, carpentry, blacksmithing, all that stuff. I have a Discord. It is pretty much just a maker's Discord. It's how I advertise it. It's been more of a Warhammer one, I will admit. But it is completely free to join. It is in the channel and video description, or stream description. And it's completely free to join. I'm never going to put that behind a paywall. I never want to do that for you guys, because I think having that should be a free thing to do. Also, if you enjoy the content and you want to see more, I probably should have started with this one. Feel free to leave a like and subscribe. I try to stream 3 days a week, starting from 7 p.m. EST to about 10 o'clock p.m. EST. Not always the case. I am human, and life and stuff can get in the way and all that. I try to be better every day when it comes to that. Also, if you want to support the channel monetarily and see improvements and upgrades and all that stuff, I do have a Ko-Fi/Coffee account people can donate to. Everything you donate goes directly back into the channel for upgrades, paints, models, hiring someone for an editor, hiring someone as an editor for videos eventually. I am human. I am fully human. I swear I am. But with that all being said, you don't have to do any of that. Just having you here, hanging out, being a part of the community is more than enough. I just get on here to be a silly goober, paint my models, and maybe chat with people. And yeah. So, with that all being said, I want you to go out there and make something awesome. I know you will.